was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there were moments of brilliance in here, but I think part of the problem was they didn't totally know what they wanted the show to be. Like, you bring up Ice, for example, the whole point of the show is he's trying to get to her. She's got the most boring design of anybody.
Yeah.
It is just this generic blonde pretty girl.
Mm.
And there's just nothing to her. And then you get, like, your favorite character was the sword guy.
Which, well, the reason I like the sword guy so much, which I forget what his name is.
Everyone has.
Even though he's, like, really the best guy in the series. Because what, like, drew me to him was, A, you know, he wasn't an asshole. Like, I kind of expected him to be. I kind of expected him... Because originally, I thought the series was going to be longer than 13 episodes. I kind of thought that, they would have, like, a meet-up, they'd hate each other, and then over time they will grow to be friends. But instead it's just, oh, we're just friends immediately now because you happen to be the only person who buys my armor.
Yeah.
Not to mention, when he was having that heart-to-heart moment when he was making Belle the dagger, was, he hated the fact that everyone would come to him asking for magical weapons. And he was like, you know what, fuck you, I'm not gonna just make you magical weapons to make you more powerful. That's not what crafting is about.
Yeah.
And I was like, not to mention, I really like his design because he has a buster sword of sorts.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was introduced way too late, though.
Yeah, that was a big problem for me, was that you see him throughout the entire opening and such, and then they introduce him like episode 8? Yeah.
And even at that, it's so rushed. They have the heart-to-heart, and all of a sudden we're all just buddy-buddies now.
Yeah.
Like, I thought there was going to be more to it. Like, the blonde elf girl at the end there, what we learned about her, I'm like, okay, you just became the most interesting character on screen, and it was way too late, and I didn't think it was properly built up. There was a lot of stuff in here that I thought just sort of got pushed aside to be like, season 2. And we don't know the villain's motivation. I don't think we know her name.
Yeah, we don't. She's just another goddess. But one thing that... when I first saw the opening, I was like, he better be a fucking main character. Because in the opening, when they have the shot of, like, everyone, like, in that town street, and it's, like, all the bar maidens and stuff, there's that one gnome who happens to be a pawn shop owner. I was like, if he's not a main character! Because me and my friend were watching the show, because I was like, you know what? I want to see what the fuck the show's about. So we were watching it, and it got to the part where it shows the gnome in the opening scene, and I was like, was that a gnome? But he only shows up for one episode, and then he's briefly mentioned in an episode when I think he goes into the dungeon alone, because apparently Lily was watching after him because he was sick or something, which, whatever. But just the fact that there was a gnome pawn shop owner was the fucking best.
Yeah, stuff like that I like. I got into the show. I saw Demolition D's, like, he did his summer anime preview. So I heard about it through then. I thought he was pretty harsh on it. Bob Samurai reviewed this. I thought he was pretty harsh. I think the big problem here is there just really isn't all that much in either direction with it. It looks pretty, but to be fair, everything's got pretty animation these days. The characters are nice. I think part of the reason I actually bought the logic for why a lot of these girls liked Belle. It wasn't just sort of the typical, oh, he's the hero, so therefore I get instantly wet. You kind of got this feeling, it almost felt sort of like a little brother type appeal.
I kind of saw it as, like, he's innocent. Not, like, he doesn't do anything. He's kind-hearted. Like, he doesn't do anything, like, overly, like, well, anything, really. He's just really kind and just gentle as a person. So I kind of saw that as, which is how, like, Lily became, friends with him. Because originally Lily was just fucking with him.
That was great, all the Lily stuff.
And then she was like, he was like the only nice person to me. Why am I fucking him over? Which was like, when I first saw that Lily was fucking him over, I was like, you fucking bitch. But just the fact that, I think that's what really draws people to him. It's just the fact that he's nice, which can be a bad thing at times. But it's still, like, his character, it's just kind, and that's all I can really say about it. And that's really what I think draws people to him.
Well, I think part of it was like, Ice is just sort of like, I'll give him a break and show him the ropes.
Which you also see that she kind of likes him.
Yeah. I did like the joke how her gag was that she kind of was sort of bland. That was sort of neat to see her just like, do this, and she's just like, what is with this girl? I thought that was good. But yeah, she just didn't get enough time.
What did you think about all the other goddesses or gods?
I don't really get a lot of focus. I thought it was weird turning Vulcan into a chick. I thought turning Loki into a chick was kind of weird.
But Loki was fun.
Yeah, she was good.
All she did was lust after Ice and try to grab her ass.
I'll say this much though, the actor who played Kirito, I didn't realize it till you told me, at least he seems to be having more fun in this. Like, this seemed like a fun show to work on. But again, I just feel like it tried way too hard to have its cake and eat it too, and it definitely sort of suffers from it. And also, I thought some of the CGI integration was kind of weird.
Actually, I don't think I even noticed CGI.
Well, there was some, like, at the last episode when the giant monsters rampaging, I'm like, ooh, that, you guys could have spent maybe a little more time and money on that. And that, I thought, really caused a big issue. Again, it's not that it's a particularly bad show. I just feel like, people's reaction to it was just based more on the fact that in a time period where everything's got to be the next big thing, like Tokyo Ghoul can't just be the show about this kid who gets turned into a monster. It's got to be about the human condition.
My anime is going to be the anime to pierce the heavens.
Basically, yeah. And it's just sort of like, I think when you see something like this that isn't really trying to be anything too big, it just wants to be this fun little show. People kind of have weird reactions to it. But that being said, I really thought the way they integrated the video game dialogue was clever. Because obviously, it's not, because when I first heard it was called Dungeon, I thought the idea was he saves a girl from a dungeon in the first episode. I thought the idea was he saves Hestia in episode 1 and she just sort of lusts after him after that. I didn't expect it was going to be this whole big goddess thing, and I really don't hate Hestia. The design doesn't work, but I think the character as a whole does. Like, I think she's cute, and I think what I really liked about her was the whole idea of, she likes Belle because Belle is there for her, and she's trying to get his attention. It feels very much like kids would behave. I think the problem is just when you do that over-the-top design and when it spreads on the internet faster than your actual show, it's like, I'm shocked how much disturbing fan art there is of this character already.
It's the internet.
Yeah, but like even...
If it exists, there's porn of it. Rule 34.
No, but it's just like I thought, this was one of those things where it got too big, too fast, and so when people saw it, they had their very extreme reactions and didn't really totally know how to gauge it properly. And I think that was the show's biggest fault.
In your opinion, what was your favorite scene in the show?
Him fighting the Minotaur at the end there. It's a long fight, and some people said it dragged on a bit. I could see that, but when he does actually beat that giant thing, you really do get a sense that this was earned. He earned that victory. He earned his way. It's like in the first episode when all the, people in Ice's guild are knocking young players. He doesn't go crying home. He goes and starts training. And I thought that was really the show's highlight, was being able to make this kid likable and have him do a good job and want to get stronger without needing to turn it into this big whole world thing. Though I do hope next season we get more world building, and we gotta wrap this up. We have 2 minutes.
My favorite scene, and after this we'll just give a review. My favorite scene in the entire show was the scene when Belle gets brought up to that cliffside when they're in like the safe area and like the guy's fighting him, and then Hestia turns all like stop, and like her fucking like flower things like gently float to the ground, and she has that like Super Saiyan God, like fucking literally she turns into Super Saiyan God. She has like the red "I'm done with your shit" glow over her. I was like, Hestia as a whole was like, yes, I want Belle's dick, and then just to be like, no.
Well, going back to my original theory, he sticks it in her. That thing's getting burnt off after she did that.
Okay.
Well, here's on my last final thing I want to bring up. I hope it means something, because that was weird that when she turns into her goddess mode, she like lost all her emotions and stuff. I hope that turns into something next season, and I think that is the problem when you want us to make us wait till next season, because we might have to wait a year for this, or it'll be back this fall. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, for this series, for season 1, if season 2 is good, we'll judge that when time comes. I will say, and I say this in the non-spoiler, but I'll do that before this one goes up. I will say whatever this show is called is a 7 out of 10. It's a lot of fun, it's goofy, it's ridiculous. Don't take it too seriously and you should have a good time.
I was actually going to give it a 7 out of 10 too. Because, well, I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 just because I had a lot of fun with it going in. I wasn't expecting a lot, and I was pretty, like, blown away with what I did receive out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you know, there were flaws, definitely. But I still liked it for what it was, same with how Sword Art was. But, you know, that's all I can really say about it. By the way, we never did a Sword Art Season 2 review.
Yeah.
Which I doubt we'll ever do, because...
no one cares.
No one cares.
And the ultimate legacy of Sword Art. No one cares. But what did you think of this anime? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on this, or hell, if you want to talk about Sword Art Season 2, because we knocked that a bit, go ahead. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe for more anime reviews, movie news, and whatever the hell else we feel like talking about.
Terrible videos.
Okay.